Hey friends,
Welcome to Lucid Dream, Sleep and Science Stories, where philosophy is not just dry words in a book, but the rhythm of your breath, the gentle light within your mind before you drift into sleep. Tonight, let us embark together, not with our steps, but with our breath.
a deep, slow and mindful breath.
Because sometimes the greatest journey does not begin somewhere far away, but right here, in this very moment where you are lying in the stillness of the night. Stoic philosophy teaches us you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote those words in lonely nights amidst the battlefield. And now, more than 2,000 years later, his words still whisper to weary souls wandering through the modern world. Have you ever felt
As if you were drifting, carried along a ceaseless river of work, worries, notifications, and memories?
you try to control everything, but the tighter you hold on, the faster things slip through your fingers? Tonight, let go. Let your breath guide you back to the center of your being. Lucid dream is not a place to fall asleep, but a place to awaken within your sleep. A space where you learn to observe your mind, to feel every movement of thought, every heartbeat of life itself. Here, we do not run away from the world. We simply pause, listen more deeply. Imagine this. You are standing in a quiet room. A soft light spreads like morning mist. Outside is the universe, vast, silent, unjudging.
Inside there is only you and your breath. As you inhale, you feel life filling your body.
As you exhale, you release everything. Plans, fears, images, memories. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It is not the world outside that exhausts you. It is how you resist it. It is not that the night is too long. It is that you have not allowed yourself to be still long enough to hear your own soul. Philosophy, born from reason, returns now as a lullaby.
Not to instruct, but to soothe.
Not to make you understand more, but to make you think a little less. There is something fascinating. In the science of sleep, they discovered that the mind can only truly rest when it feels safe. Just as in Stoic philosophy, serenity does not come from the outer world, but from the sense of inner mastery. When we no longer need control, we begin to feel truly alive. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Epictetus, when a raindrop falls, it does not ask why it must fall. When a leaf withers, it does not fear being carried away by the wind. They simply follow their nature. Tonight you can do the same. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to fix yourself. Just be present. Just breathe. Can you hear the wind outside your window? That sound. It is nature's invitation for you to return home. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. There is no place more serene than your own soul. And lucid dream, sleep and science, stories is but a companion guiding you through that door. Tonight, we begin with the first art of calm. Control the breath, control the mind. Not through force, but through awareness. Breathe in. You recognize that you are alive. Breathe out. You recognize that you can let go. In neuroscience, this is called neurocalm. When the nervous system softens, the heartbeat and brain waves slow down, opening the alpha doorway into a dreamlike state. In Stoic philosophy, it is called ataraxia, the state of unshakable tranquility, where the soul remains still even as the world changes, and in sleep, these two worlds meet. Science and philosophy merge into one. The breath becomes the bridge, if you listen carefully enough. Between each breath, between each pause, you will feel the rhythm of stillness. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of fullness. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius, compassion toward the world and discipline toward oneself. These are the foundations of peace and sleep. Miraculously is when nature teaches us both. When you sleep, you surrender control, allowing the world to heal itself. When you dream, you touch the deep wisdom that waking reason cannot grasp. Lucid dream is not just a name, it is a state of being, half awake, half asleep, where you see your dream and understand it. Tonight, you don't need to try to sleep.
Just listen.
Thoughts begin to melt like mist. Your heartbeat slows. Your breath grows deeper, warmer, gentler. Stoicism ceases to be philosophy.
It becomes the music of the soul.
A wordless melody where each note is a breath, each pause is life itself. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Marcus Aurelius, acceptance, love,
and gratitude. These are the beginnings of peaceful sleep. And when you hear your own voice dissolve into the night,
know that you have begun your journey home. Home to stillness, home to peace, home to yourself. Welcome to Lucid Dream, where philosophy whispers you to sleep. And when your breath has become as light as mist, when your mind begins to drift slowly through the boundless space, let me tell you a secret that the ancient philosophers always carried with them. A secret about life.
And about death. The Romans called it Memento Mori. Remember that you must die, not as a curse, but as an awakening. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations. You could leave life right now.
Let that determine what you do and say and think. Those words are not sad, they are lucid. They do not make us afraid, they make us truly alive. Because only when we realize everything will end do we learn how to be fully present in the moment that exists now. This very moment, where you are breathing, listening, existing, is the only gift the universe has ever given. Have you ever watched a candle burn in the dark? The flame knows it will fade, but because of that it burns more beautifully, more brightly. Each spark is a short song of existence. And so are we. In the modern world, we learn everything: how to make money, how to achieve goals, how to become more. But few ever learn how to accept their own limits. Memento, Mori does not teach us to die. It teaches us to be grateful for being alive. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Life is not short. We simply squander it in worry, in anger, in small, meaningless distractions. We forget that every morning we open our eyes, we have received another gift from fate. Pause for a moment. Listen to the sound of your heartbeat. Each beat is a tick in the invisible clock of life.
No one knows when it will stop.
But knowing that it will stop, that is what makes us cherish every remaining beat. In sleep, every night, we die a little. We leave consciousness, leave the world, dissolve into darkness. And when we awaken, we are reborn. Memento. Mori reminds us that every night's sleep is a lesson in letting go. And likewise, every morning is a resurrection. In the science of sleep, it is found that the mind only truly rests when it believes there is nothing left to control. When you accept release, the brain naturally shifts its neural rhythms into the theta state, the doorway to dreams. Stoicism understood this thousands of years ago. When you no longer cling to outcomes, you begin to be free. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. Seneca, one who fears death will never truly live, because such a person is always counting down instead of feeling each unfolding moment. So tonight, in this breath, allow yourself to feel your own fragility. Not to grieve, but to see clearly, death is not far away. It hides in every exhale that is not followed by an inhale. It is the silence between two heartbeats, between two thoughts, between two dreams. And it is within that silence that we find the meaning of life. Lucid dream exists to remind you of this. Sleep is not an escape from life. It is another way of living, deeper, quieter, truer. Perhaps if we knew that tomorrow morning might not come, we would love tonight more.
Love the stillness. Love the small things.
Love even the scars of our souls, Marcus once wrote. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. When we know that time is limited, kindness becomes instinct. We no longer compete, no longer demand, no longer blame. We simply wish to live beautifully, even for one more day. If you are listening to this, try to feel death as a friend.
A silent companion always beside you, without judgment, without haste.
One who reminds you that everything you are seeing is precious. Be grateful for this breath. Be grateful for your body, which continues its faithful work, even when you forget it all day long. Be grateful for your eyes, your ears, your heart, for their patient existence. In the darkness, as you lie still, think of everything you once feared: loss, failure, separation. Then gently whisper to yourself, everything shall pass. But I, in this very moment, am alive. And that is the true wonder of Memento Mori. It does not make us fear death. It teaches us to be grateful for every heartbeat, to see that every sleep, every breath is part of a miracle. When you surrender to stillness, you will realize that death is not an ending, but a return to nature, to breath, to the universe.
And in that return we find
peace. Now, as your mind grows calm, as gratitude gently spreads through your body, let me guide you into the next chapter, the discipline of perception. Because it is the way we perceive the world that determines whether we live in peace or in chaos. And when you have learned to smile at death, when fear dissolves like a fragile mist, you begin to realize, wow, what truly causes suffering is not death itself, but how we see life. Epictetus once said, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. It is not events that unsettle us, but the way we think about them. The world is neither good nor bad, it simply is. And within that isness, our perception gives birth to meaning. Do you remember the last time you were angry? Someone misunderstood you. A plan fell apart. A day that was supposed to be smooth suddenly filled with obstacles. And then your mind, like a dark theatre,
lit up with hundreds of lights, each one a thought, a protest, a judgment. But have you ever asked yourself, who is turning on those lights? It is you.
You are the one controlling the lighting of the stage inside your mind. If you shine light on anger, anger will grow. If you shine light on peace, peace will bloom. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, the soul is dyed by the color of its thoughts. What you think, you become. And in every moment you have the power to choose the color of your own mind. Modern science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape its own structure based on how we think and react. What we repeat again and again becomes a neural pathway. But Stoic philosophy thousands of years ago expressed the same truth in a simpler word: discipline. Discipline not as coercion, but as the art of mastering perception. Imagine you are standing in the rain. Someone complains, "The rain ruined my day." But another says, "It's raining. How wonderful, I can hear the earth breathing." The rain is still the rain. The only difference lies in the observer. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. If you feel hurt by the world, it is you who are interpreting it through your own pain, and you have the power to erase that interpretation right now." Sometimes it is not the world we need to change, but the way we look at it. Like turning a prism, the light remains the same, yet the colors reflected become entirely different. In sleep, this happens naturally. Consciousness quiets down and the brain begins to reorganize memory. What you once called mistakes are restructured, becoming lighter, fading away. Science calls this memory reconsolidation, but Stoicism puts it simply: look again. With new eyes, there's an old story that tells of this. A sage once walked through a city devastated by war. People asked him, "Aren't you afraid?" "Everything is lost," he replied. "Nothing is lost if my mind remains calm. Nothing is lost as long as the mind stays still." We often judge life by what happens to us, but the Stoic judges it by how we respond. No one can take your peace away unless you give it to them yourself. You see, every form of suffering begins with a mistaken thought. "He hurt me. This world is so unfair. Life isn't what I wanted." But if we pause, look a little deeper, we will see this truth. No one truly hurts us. We only feel hurt by them. Epictetus said, "When someone irritates you, realize that it is your own opinion which irritates you. No one truly angers you.
It is your opinion of them that does. In the darkness, imagine this.
Your mind is like a still lake. Each emotion is a stone dropped into it. If you react, the ripples will never cease. But if you simply observe, the ripples fade on their own. That is the discipline of perception. Not chasing, not avoiding, just seeing. And you will realize peace is not the absence of events, but the absence of being carried away by them. You have the power to release tension. Only you can let go. No one else can do it for you. The world will remain noisy, but you can walk through it, like one who moves quietly through a crowded market, hearing, seeing, yet untouched. That is the discipline of perception, the ability to stand still in the wind and see the wind for what it is. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. You don't need to change your thought. You only need to see them clearly, like someone watching cloud, not trying to push them away, just observing them drift by, and you will understand true freedom does not lie outside, but in how you see the world. Now, as your mind grows quieter, as judgments fade like mist, we shall climb to the next level of peace, Amor Fati, love of fate. Because once you have mastered perception, the next step is learning to love even what you cannot change. You are still here, within the silent space, with soft breath and a mind like a lake reflecting the night sky. And now, if you listen closely, you will feel something begin to change. Not the world outside, but the way you receive it. Amor Fati, love your fate. 3 simple words, yet the very essence of Stoic philosophy. Not just accepting fate, but loving it. Loving even the things you never wished for. Nietzsche once said, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati," that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Greatness is when you wish nothing to be otherwise. No regret for the past, no fear of the future, only love for the now. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. A strong fire turns everything thrown into it into light. That is Amor Fati, turning adversity, pain and failure into the fuel that makes the soul shine. We often say, "I accept what happens." But acceptance is only the beginning. To love your fate, that is the summit. Because when we love, we no longer resist. When we love, we dissolve. And when we dissolve, all suffering disappears. Think of a river. It does not choose its direction. It does not complain when it meets rocks, nor does it rage when its flow is blocked. It simply flows, and in that flow it finds freedom. You are the same. Life throws at you the things you never wished for: loss, betrayal, loneliness, failure. But if you learn to dance with the rhythm of fate, you will no longer fear falling. Don't wish for things to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do,
and your life will go smoothly. Epictetus, do not wish for things to happen your way.
Wish for them to happen exactly as they are meant to, and your life will flow with ease. In psychology, this is called radical acceptance, the complete acknowledgement of what is happening, without judgment or resistance. But in Stoic philosophy, it is not merely acceptance, it is love, a mature, quiet, transcendent kind of love. Because when you truly love, you no longer wish to change what you love. You only wish to understand it. Amor Fati does not ask us to be passive. On the contrary, that it teaches us to create with destiny. Like a musician who cannot change the melody of the universe but can play it in their own way. If life gives you a low note, turn it into a gentle resonance. If it sends you a high note, let it sing with joy unending. Amor Fati never asks, "Why me?" It simply smiles and says, "Thank you for being me. Look back at your journey so far."
All the things that once hurt you, were they not the very things that made you deeper?
Without loneliness, how would you learn to listen? Without loss, how would you know how to love truly? Without mistakes, how would you find the right path?
Life is not against you.
It is training you. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the path. Tonight, let these words echo in your mind like a slow melody in the dark. Amor Fati.
Amor Fati. Each time you inhale, think, "I receive." Each time you exhale, whisper, "I love this." Receive the breath, receive life. Love what unfolds, even when you don't yet understand why.
Because sometimes fate does not need to be understood. It only needs to be trusted. Have you ever thought that every event in your life was arranged with perfect care to lead you to this very moment? Every person you met, every loss you endured, every sleepless night, all are delicate pieces of a greater mosaic, a picture you can only see clearly when you pause, step back,
And realize it has always been perfect. Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time. Marcus Aurelius, whatever
happens to you has been waiting for you since the dawn of time. When you understand this, all resistance melts away. The mind no longer tries to fix the world. It begins to dance with it. You are no longer the one struggling against the river, but the one flowing with it. And in that flow, you feel free. Amor Fati is not a philosophy of reason, but of a heart that has ceased to fear. When you love your fate, you merge with the universe. You cease to be the observer and become part of the whole. Sleep, how wondrous, is when the body teaches us Amor Fati. When you close your eyes, you surrender yourself to darkness, trusting that you will awaken in the morning. No doubt, no fear, only trust. And if you can trust the darkness, you can also trust life. To love only what happens, what was destined.
No greater harmony. Marcus Aurelius, to love only what happens, only what was meant to be. There is no greater harmony. Let that thought bring you back to your breath.
Feel your heart beating. Each pulse a quiet affirmation. I am alive. Feel your lungs expand. Each breath a soft confession. I am in love with this life. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to love and let life reveal its meaning in its own time. As you drift into stillness, hold this gentle reminder in your heart. Amor Fati. Love both the light and the shadow. Love the storm, for it teaches you steadiness. Love the tears, for they cleanse the soul. Love the long nights, for they are what lead you to the dawn within. And when that inner dawn rises, we step into the next stage of the journey. Inner peace, where acceptance transforms into serenity, where love becomes stillness, and where you at last truly rest. And when you have learned to love all that happens, something strange begins to bloom within you. Stillness. Not the stillness of outer silence, but the quiet within the mind, where there is no more resistance, no more struggle, only pure presence. Can you hear it? The space itself seems to have changed. Every sound from the outside has become merely a backdrop for the silence within. Stoicism teaches us this. Peace does not come when the world stops moving, but when the mind stops resisting it. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. True, strength lies not in controlling others, but in remaining calm amid chaos. Science calls this coherence, a state where heart rhythm, breath, and brain waves align as one. Mind, body, and spirit flow together in harmony. In that moment, the nervous system self-adjusts, stress hormones subside, and the mind opens the still zone, where consciousness dissolves into the subconscious. You don't need to try to sleep. You only need to stop trying at all. If you are calm, nothing can disturb you. Seneca, peace is an invisible armor. When you wear it, nothing outside can wound you. The Stoic does not escape the world. He simply does not let the world invade his inner self. And that is the secret of deep sleep. Not escaping life, but ceasing to resist life. Imagine this.
A lake full of ripples by day.
But when night comes, the wind stops, the water stills. Then, with the appearance of a single star, the whole sky is reflected in it. Your mind is the same. When you no longer react, all the beauty of the world reflects clearly within you. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Marcus Aurelius, the calmer you are, the stronger you become. Not because you can fight the storm, but because you no longer need to. Do you remember how it feels after a storm has passed? The air is always clearer, the sky always a little brighter, so it is with the mind. Each time you let go, a storm dissolves, and afterward comes a new clarity. You have the power to release tension. Yes, you have the power to let go. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone to understand. Lucid dream, sleep and science. Stories exists to remind you that peace is not something you must find, but something you already possess. You only need to remember, like returning home after a long journey. Nothing new, only the realization of where you belong. In sleep, as the brain enters the slow wave phase, all logical activity fades. The mind stops doing and begins being. You no longer try to control your breath. You are the breath. You no longer try to let go. You are the letting go. That is when inner peace ceases to be a concept and becomes a living experience. Then, every cell in your body seems to smile. Your muscles loosen. Your breath expands through your chest. Your heartbeat and the universe pulses one. There is no me and the world, only one continuous flow of being. be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. Marcus Aurelius, be like the rock before the waves, unmoved, not out of hardness, but from knowing that waves are only waves, and they will pass. If you are hearing this now, let your eyes close gently. Feel the space between your eyelids. A warm, deep, safe darkness. Each time you inhale, whisper within, I am here. With every exhale, whisper softly, I am enough. Because in this very moment, you are complete.
Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be taken away.
There is nothing left to prove. Nowhere else to go. Inner peace is where Stoicism and sleep meet. Both lead us to the same destination, a place beyond the self, where only the stillness of existence remains. And right there, just before we drift into sleep, we touch what philosophy calls ataraxia and science calls deep rest, a state in which the mind, the body, and the soul all whisper together, I am home. Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. Marcus Aurelius, there is no place more peaceful than your own soul. And when you enter that space, the world no longer needs to be quiet on because you already are. Now, in this final breath before sleep, feel this harmony. You and the world, no longer two. You and the breath, no longer apart. You and sleep, no longer distinct. All are one single current of life, flowing in love, and as you drift softly into dreams, let the final words of this chapter echo like a lullaby of the cosmos. Peace is not the absence of noise, but the silence within noise. Peace is not when the world is quiet. It is when you are quiet amidst the world. Welcome. You have completed the second journey, the journey into the heart of tranquility. From here, we go deeper, into the philosophical core of sleep. When the night grows deep and your mind is no longer scattered among the waves of the world.
Allow me to take you further into what Stoicism calls the heart of the soul.
There is no fame, no wealth, no praise or blame, no gain or loss. Only one great question that philosophers have carried for thousands of years. What is truly good? And the Stoic answers, virtue is the only good. Vice is the only evil, not money, not status, not pleasure nor pain. Only virtue is truly good. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, if all else is taken, your virtue remains. Even if everything is stripped away, your home, your reputation, your loved ones, your health, the one thing that cannot be stolen is your virtue. And that, he said, is true freedom. Stoicism divides virtue into 4 pillars. Wisdom, knowing what lies within our control. Courage, acting rightly despite fear. Justice, living for the common good, not for the self. Temperance, knowing sufficiency, keeping balance between excess and lack. These 4 virtues are like the 4 winds that keep the soul balanced.
Lose one and you lean.
Keep them all and you stand in harmony. Imagine this. You are walking through a dark forest. The path twists and turns. There is no light. In your hand there is only a small candle. That candle is virtue. As you walk, the wind blows, the night grows thicker. But if you protect that tiny flame, it still burns, and that small light is enough to lead you out of the darkness. The world seeks light from outside. The Stoic kindles it from within. For external light can be extinguished, but the light of virtue can only go out if you put it out. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius Do not waste time debating what a good person should be.
Be that person. In life, there will be times you are misunderstood.
Times you are betrayed. Times you are treated unjustly. But in every situation, you still have the power to choose your response, and every choice is either an act of virtue or a crack in it. You may ruin your life by your opinions of it. Epictetus is your judgment of life that determines whether you live in peace or in pain, and virtue is the purest form of perception. Wisdom teaches us not to react blindly. Courage teaches us not to fear the truth. Justice teaches us to see others as equals. Temperance teaches us when to stop. These are not distant ideals. They are the habits of the soul, the quiet heartbeat within every small decision. In modern neuroscience, scientists have discovered that when people live in alignment with their values, the brain releases oxytocin and serotonin, chemicals of safety and happiness. It means this: living virtuously literally makes you healthier. Spirituality and biology meet at one single point: virtue. A man's worth is measured by the worth of what he values. Marcus Aurelius. Worth of a person is measured by the worth of what he treasures. If you value possessions, you will tremble when they are gone. If you value reputation, you will fear judgment. But if you value virtue, you can lose nothing at all. You may be robbed of sleep, but not of conscience. You may fail, but still live nobly. You may be abandoned, but remain free from hatred. That is the strength of the Stoic, a silent strength, unshakable and enduring. Tonight, as you listen to the rhythm of your heart, let one quiet question rise within you. If tomorrow I awoke and all else were gone, would my virtue remain? If the answer is yes, then you are richer than any king. Remember, nothing can make you happy but your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. No one can make you happy except your own thoughts. And when those thoughts are illuminated by virtue, everything becomes clear. Breathe in,
Breathe out.
feel the small flame within your heart. It doesn't blaze, it doesn't burn. It glows steadily, patiently, like a star in the still sky. That is virtue. A light that needs no proof, for it shines by its very nature. Virtue is the only good, and in sleep, when all worldly concerns fall away from the mind, that flame still burns, soft, warm, and honest. And now, as you have stepped into the center of the soul,
let that light lead us onward to the next truth: nature and change, living in accord with nature.
accepting change. For virtue is not only knowing what is good, but also knowing how to let go when nature calls us to change. Everything in this universe is in motion. Even when you sit still or lie with your eyes closed, something is still moving within you. Blood flows through your veins.
Air enters your lungs.
Thoughts come and go like gentle waves. The world never stands still, and that is its nature. The universe is change.
Life is opinion. Marcus Aurelius, the universe is change.
Life is merely the way we interpret that change. When we try to keep things the same, that is when suffering begins. Because life was made to flow, not to freeze. Look at a river. You cannot step into the same place twice. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. Heraclitus, everything is changing, and so are you. You are no longer the person you were yesterday. Each breath, each thought, each heartbeat is quietly rewriting who you are. Science calls this cellular renewal. Every 7 years, every cell in your body is replaced. Philosophy calls it impermanence, and Stoicism simply smiles and says, live in accord with nature. Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast, and love sincerely the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live. Marcus Aurelius, adapt to what nature has given you, and love sincerely the souls with whom destiny has asked you to share this journey. When you accept change, you do not lose control. You join the rhythm of the universe, just as the ocean never tries to hold its waves. If it did, it would no longer be the ocean. We suffer because we want what cannot stand still. We want others to love us forever. We want youth to remain. We want dreams to unfold exactly as we designed them, but everything is flowing.
And the world is not betraying us. It is only fulfilling its natural duty to change. Observe constantly that all things take place by change.
And accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are and to make new things like them. Marcus Aurelius. The universe loves change. It creates by letting the old dissolve so the new can be born. Just like sleep, each night is a small death, and each dawn a rebirth. You close your eyes to release and open them to begin again. This is the cycle of nature: birth, existence, dissolution, renewal, an eternal circle, and every soul moves within it. When you fear loss, remember this to be: you cannot lose what truly belongs to nature, for nature does not disappear, it transforms. If a leaf falls, it does not die, it becomes soil. If a star fades, it does not vanish, it becomes stardust, from which new life is born.
You are the same.
When one chapter of your life closes, a new part of you begins to open. Do not resist the river. Do not try to hold water in your hand. Instead, open your palm and feel it flow through. It is in that letting go that you realize you are truly alive. Everything harmonizes with me, which is harmonious to thee, O universe. Marcus Aurelius, everything is in harmony with me when I am in harmony with the universe. In neuroscience, this state is called flow. When you are no longer separate from your actions, no longer thinking I am doing, but simply doing. That is what it means to live in accordance with nature. You do not need to force yourself to be perfect. You do not need to cling to what once was, because as it was has never existed. There is only as it is. Close your eyes.
Listen to your breath.
Each inhale is birth. Each exhale is death.
And between them is life. You are a little soul carrying around a corpse. Epictetus, you are but a small soul carrying a temporary body.
And when that body changes form, the soul continues, like water, like wind, like light. So instead of holding on, learn to flow. Instead of longing, be grateful for what has passed. Because if things never dissolved, there would be no room for growth. Remember, change is not the enemy of peace. It is the doorway to peace. When you understand that everything is temporary, you begin to cherish every fleeting moment of existence. No more clinging, no more fear, no more need for control. Only a quiet gratitude remains. And when that gratitude settles, you begin to hear the voice of the universe, a soft whisper that says, all is well.
Everything is unfolding as it should. The world is change. Life is understanding. Marcus Aurelius, the world is change.
Life is understanding. When you understand, you cease to fear. When you cease to fear, you begin to love. And when you love, you have already merged with nature. Now, as your breath slows and your mind softens like water, let change become your companion, for it is change itself that will lead you deeper still to negative visualization. The art of imagining loss. A place where you learn not only to accept change, but to face it willingly, so that you may become more deeply grateful for what you already have. The night continues. The sounds of the world grow distant. You are now in the space between two states of consciousness, not fully awake, yet not asleep. Here, the mind becomes soft, receptive, and it is here that philosophy touches the heart. In Stoic philosophy, there is a practice that many fear, yet it opens the deepest door to gratitude. They call it negative visualization, the art of imagining loss. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca he, who foresees adversity robs it of its power to harm him. Imagine now that you are looking at your life, the people you love, the things you possess, the very breaths you take each day. And gently, just for a moment, imagine that they are gone. Do not be afraid.
This is not a curse.
This is a sacred ritual of awareness. When you dare to face the void, you finally see fullness. Think of the one you love most. If tomorrow they were no longer here, what would you wish for? Perhaps you would wish just to hear their laughter again, to hold their hand once more, to see them sleeping peacefully, and then open your eyes.
They are still here.
The world has taken nothing from you. You still have time to love, to thank, to live. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Marcus Aurelius, think of yourself as already dead. You have lived your life. Now take what remains and live it well. When we imagine loss, we are not being pessimistic. We are practicing active love. Because we know that everything is fragile, we stop taking things for granted. We begin to appreciate. We begin to be truly present. In neuroscience, this is called gratitude priming, the activation of the brain's regions responsible for thankfulness. When we imagine losing something, the brain reacts as if the loss were real. And then when we realize we still have it, a wave of deep, quiet joy floods in, a gratitude so soft yet profoundly powerful. Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. Seneca, there is nothing more noble than a heart that knows gratitude. You know, many people live their entire lives without ever realizing they are surrounded by miracles. The warm cup of water in your hand, a miracle. The breath filling your lungs, a miracle. The heart beating faithfully, silently, a miracle. But we only see these miracles when we dare to imagine the day they are gone. Close your eyes. Imagine a morning when you do not wake. All the sounds you love, silent. All the people you cherish, walking on without you. All your unfinished plans, fading quietly away. Now open your eyes. This world tin is still here.
You are still here.
And you have been given one more day to love. Remember, you are mortal.
Everything you love is ephemeral.
Therefore, love deeply, live wisely, act kindly, now. Remember, you are mortal. Everything you love is temporary. Therefore, love deeply, live wisely, and act kindly. Now, when you practice negative visualization, fear dissolves. Clarity takes its place. You no longer fear loss because you understand that everything you have ever held was only a temporary gift. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, think of everything you once feared losing. Then whisper to the universe, "Thank you for letting me have it, even for a while, because perhaps everything you have today was once something you longed for in the past. He who remembers that everything will perish will not despise anything that exists." Marcus Aurelius, he who remembers that all things will fade will not take anything that exists for granted. Imagine this. One day you will no longer hear the sound of rain. So tonight, listen to it. One day you will no longer feel the warmth of someone beside you. So tonight, feel it. Everything you have right now is the universe's love, shaped temporarily into form. Negative visualization does not make you fear life. It makes you love it more, because you understand that things are precious because they will pass. And when you rest in this understanding, you touch the highest form of peace, gratitude without clinging, love without possession, life without fear of loss. Let your breath grow slow. Between each inhale and exhale, feel the world shifting and smile. Because everything that comes and everything that goes is part of a perfect symphony. And as that music softens, let me guide you into the deepest layer of this philosophical journey, the place where all things blend into one, where the human and the cosmos become indistinguishable. Everything you have heard, thought, or felt has led you here, to this moment. The moment where the boundary between within and without begins to fade. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Feel the air you release dissolve into the space around you. Then circle back, touch your skin, and enter the lungs of someone else. That same stream of air moves from you to another, to the trees, to the clouds, to the earth. You are not separate. You never have been. All that you see will soon perish, and those who witness its perishing will perish too. But the whole remains, forever creating, forever transforming. Marcus Aurelius. Everything you see will fade away, and even those who watch its fading will fade as well. But the whole, the totality, remains, forever creating, forever transforming. You are a single note in the infinite symphony of the universe. Your sound cannot be separated from the sound of the others. If you were gone, the music would be incomplete. And if you resound, even for a moment, the universe, through you, is singing. The Stoic sees the world as one living body. The universe is the body, and we, its tiny cells, each action, each thought, a pulse of blood through the same vast organism. You are not separate. You are part of the whole. You are not a part. You are part of everything. When you help another, you help yourself. For you and they are two beats within the same flow. When you harm another, you harm yourself. For every pain echoes through the same being. Science calls this entanglement the quantum connection, where two particles, though light years apart, still affect each other instantly. Stoic philosophy spoke this truth thousands of years ago. The universe is one unified being. There is no me and you. There is only us. What injures the hive injures the bee. Marcus Aurelius. What harms the hive harms the bee. Think of this whenever you are angry, resentful, or closed off from the world. That anger you feel is the wound of the whole reflected within you, and when you heal yourself, you are healing the world. Imagine a wave rising on the surface of the ocean. The wave believes it is separate until it looks down and realizes it is water. So it is with you. You are not a lonely being. You are the universe in human form. We are all woven together in the fabric of the universe. We are woven from the same thread, a thread of light,
of awareness of life. When you breathe, the universe breathes with you.
When you sleep, the universe rests through you. When you awaken, the universe opens its eyes through yours. You do not merely live in this world, the world lives within you. All that exists is the web of reason shared among gods and men. Marcus Aurelius, all that exists is the web of reason and soul, interwoven between humanity and the divine. In the moments when you feel small, remember this: you are made of stardust. The atoms in your body were once part of an ancient sun. When you gaze at the night sky, you are not looking outward. You are looking inward, into yourself, in the form of light. Notice this: everything you call mine, your body, your emotions, your memories, are borrowed from the universe, and will one day be returned. Separation is only an illusion,
Born of a mind that longs to control, but in sleep, that illusion fades. When you sleep,
you merge again with the whole, like a drop returning to the ocean. All things are interwoven.
and the bond is sacred. Marcus Aurelius. Everything is interwoven.
And the thread that connects it all is sacred. And if you listen deeply enough, you can hear the faint heartbeat of the universe within your own chest. This is not a metaphor, and it is truth. For every heartbeat is an echo of the first pulse, the explosion that gave birth to everything. When you surrender to the darkness of sleep, you do not disappear. You return to the source. You do not cease to exist. You transform. Like cloud into rain, rain into river, river into mist, and back into the sky. You are a part of nature, not something apart from it. You are a part of nature, not apart from it. When you suffer, nature suffers with you. When you are at peace,
nature smiles through you, and when you sleep,
nature cradles you in its rhythm. Notice your breath right now. It moves in rhythm with the breath of the world, the breath of the wind, the breath of the sea, the breath of infinity. You do not need to try to belong, because you will never separate. When you understand this, loneliness dissolves. There is no longer me facing the world. There is only one continuous flow called all that is. And in that flow, Stoicism, sleep, love, fear, all dissolve into the same gentle light of awareness. No more death, no more separation, only eternal continuation. The universe is within you. Everything that you see outside is a reflection of what you carry inside. The universe lives within you. Everything you see outside is but the reflection of what resides within. Now, as your mind melts into this vastness, let that feeling lead you back to perfect stillness. You do not need to search, for you have become a part of wholeness itself. When you breathe, the universe breathes with you. When you dream, the universe dreams through you.
And when you sleep, the universe, through you, rests. Let the final breath of this chapter be the whisper the universe sends to you. You are home. You are home, in the heart of all things.
In the rhythm of life, in the stillness of the infinite, you have come so far, from the first breath in stillness. Through the layers of awareness, philosophy, and gratitude, you have learned how to see, how to love, how to merge with all that exists. Now, one final lesson remains before you are truly free. Not freedom of the body, not freedom from fear, but freedom from the need to control. Take a deep breath in and exhale gently. Can you feel it? How most of our worries in life come from wanting everything to happen according to our will. We want others to understand us. We want the future to follow our plans. We want time to stop at the moments we find most beautiful. But the universe is not programmed to obey the will of humankind. It moves according to its own order. You cannot control the river. You can only control how you move with it. You cannot control the river. You can only choose how you flow with it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Everything is in constant flux, and you yourself are made of change." Everything is in motion, and you too are part of that motion. So when you try to hold still, you are resisting your own nature. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca, We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Because the mind refuses to let go, it builds thousands of what-ifs and becomes trapped in things that never even happened. Look at your breath. You cannot hold it forever in your chest. If you try, you suffocate. You can only inhale and then release. Life is the same. Holding tight will exhaust you. Letting go is what allows you to live. In Stoic philosophy, there is a concept called the dichotomy of control, the line that separates what is within our control and what is not. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us,
And some things are not. Some things depend on us, but most do not. You cannot control the weather.
but you can choose how you respond when it rains. You cannot control other people, but you can choose how you face them. You cannot control outcomes, but you can control the honesty of your effort. When you understand this, worry dissolves, because you stop trying to hold the entire ocean in the palm of your hand and simply swim in the current of the present moment. Control, release, acceptance, peace, control, release, accept. Be at peace. That is the backward path of a maturing soul. Imagine this. You are holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. But if you open your palm, it stays. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is allowing things to remain in their natural way. In sleep, you do this every night. When you close your eyes, you release all control. You trust that your body will keep breathing, that your heart will continue beating, that the dawn will come. That is the deepest faith a human can hold. And it is practiced nightly.
Even when you are unaware of it, man is disturbed not by things,
but by the view he takes of them. Epictetus, when you stop labeling everything as a problem, the world no longer resists you. Every situation, every person, every emotion, Sikhan, becomes a current of water, and you simply flow with it. You see now, letting go is not losing. Letting go is winning the only battle worth fighting, the battle against the ego. The ego wants to control because it is afraid, but the soul knows there is nothing to fear. Yield to the current of life, and you will find peace in its flow. Flow with the current of life,
and you will find peace in its rhythm. In this moment,
try letting go piece by piece. Release the tension in your shoulders.
unclench your jaw.
Let the thoughts spinning in your mind begin to fade. Feel your body grow lighter, your mind open wider.
No more resistance, only flow. This is the Stoic art, to live in the world
without letting the world possess you, to act with all your heart, and then place the result in the hands of nature. Do your duty and leave the rest to the gods. Marcus Aurelius, do your duty and leave the rest to the gods. When you let go, the world is no longer a burden. Everything returns to flow, soft, slow and true, like this breath. And when you let go deeply enough, you realize you have never controlled anything. You only mistook the need to control for control itself. Now, let your breath carry you further. Each exhale is a release, each pause a gentle dissolving.
No more I must, only I am, let go.
Or be dragged. Zen proverb, let go, or be dragged. Tonight choose to let go. Let everything fall from your hands and realize, Wutyat, you never truly lost anything, for in that release, you return to your true nature, light, clear, and free. Freedom is the ability to choose your own response. Epictetus, freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is choosing how you respond to what happens. And when the only response left is silence, That is liberation. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the emptiness between two breaths. That space is peace itself. In that stillness, there is no fear, no plan, no self.
Only presence. In acceptance, there is peace. In acceptance, there is peace.
And in peace, you drift into sleep, not as one who escapes, but as a soul returning home. Do you remember? We once spoke of the river.
It does not resist. It does not ask why.
It simply flows. Now imagine that you are that river. No banks, no source, no destination, only soft movement, vast and serene. Everything you ever tried to control, time, emotions, outcomes, people, has now been carried away. There is nothing left to grasp. And strangely, when you stop holding on, you stop being afraid of loss. Accept the things to which fate binds you.
And love the people with whom fate brings you together. Marcus Aurelius, accept what fate brings, and love those it places beside you. Acceptance is not surrender.
It is the art of softness like water. It does not resist the stone, yet through gentleness it smooths the stone over time. You are the same. When you become soft, you are stronger than any storm. Be like water. Lao Tzu, be like water, shapeless, boundless, passing through all things, yet never losing yourself. Acceptance is when you look at your sorrow and do not ask why it came, when you face a painful memory and stop
Trying to erase it when you hear a
sigh within your heart and smile softly. Oh, it's you again. When you accept, everything becomes light. No more I must. No more I need. Only I am. The universe is change. Life is understanding. Marcus Aurelius, the universe is constant change, and life is the understanding of that truth. In neuroscience, acceptance activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that creates a sense of connection and unity. In other words, when you accept, you return to oneness with the world. Feel that now. No resisting, no fixing. No wishing for things to be different, just listening, letting everything be as it is. Your heartbeat is the rhythm of life. Your breath, the wind of the universe. Your body, earth, water, star, and cloud. You do not need to seek peace. You are peace. Let everything slow down. Truly slow.
as if the whole world were dissolving into a single breath. Breathe in and receive it all.
Breathe out and release it all. Breathe in, expand. Breathe out, melt. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. Marcus Aurelius, remember this: to live one more day is a privilege, and tonight, to rest in peace is also a privilege. There is nothing to fix,
Nothing to complete.
nothing to prove. Everything is exactly where it should be. And so are you. If you have ever watched the waves at sea, notice when they touch the shore, they dissolve without regret. Yet far away, another wave is born. That is acceptance. No holding, no forcing to forget, only allowing things to continue in their natural rhythm. To live in harmony with nature is to live in peace with yourself. Seneca, to live in harmony with nature is to live in peace with yourself. And that is what you are doing right now, in this breath. You do not need to look for a better self. You do not need to ask, am I enough? For the universe in this very moment is looking at you and whispering, enough, perfect. Now let every sound drift past you like water. Do not chase any thought. Do not force away any feeling. Simply notice and let them dissolve. Each thought is a wave, each emotion a passing cloud. They come and they go. There is nothing to grasp.
Nothing to fear. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are exactly where you need to be.
Not early, not late. Not wrong, not lost. The universe has never taken a wrong turn. Acceptance is knowing that everything that has ever happened in your life is part of a symphony far more perfect than you can imagine. And when you hear that melody, you no longer wish to change the rhythm.
You only wish to
keep listening. Now, as you listen to these words, let them cease to be words. Let them become a stream of sleep itself. The mind dissolving into darkness, yet awareness still faintly glowing like a soft light in the mist. The light of acceptance. Peace is the natural state of the soul. Marcus Aurelius' peace is the natural state of the soul. When you do nothing, force nothing, strive to be no one else, you return to yourself. Now let this silence cradle you. Do not resist.
do not cling. Dissolve. Like a speck of dust floating into moonlight. Everything you have ever searched for is already here.
In this stillness, and as your breath lengthens, your heartbeat slows, know this: you are entering the final chapter. A place beyond philosophy, beyond word, where there is only the complete merging with nature. If you can still hear this voice, know that you have traveled far. Far beyond philosophy, beyond the teachings of Marcus or Seneca. So far that only silence remains. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is when there is no one left who needs to speak. You lie there, a body softening, a mind unwinding, a soul returning to nature. No more listener and narrator, only two breaths becoming one. You are part of nature, not something apart from it. You are part of nature, not something standing outside of it. You were formed from the earth, and you will return to it. The atoms within you were once wind and water,
and the light of an ancient star. You do not carry life within you. You are life itself. When you inhale, the mountains breathe with you.
When you exhale, the sea quietly rises. The entire world is breathing in rhythm with you. Nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. Lao Tzu, nature never hurries, yet everything is done, and so it is with you. You no longer need to run. You have completed your journey to here in this very moment. No past.
No future. Only the present, melting like dew upon a morning leaf. Notice your body.
Every cell is resting. The heart beats slowly. The lungs open evenly. Thoughts drift by like petals falling onto water. There is nothing to hold.
Nothing to seek.
Nothing to fear. Everything that happens, happens as it should. Marcus Aurelius, everything that happens, happens exactly as it must. You once believed you were a separate being, that there was you.
And there was the world, but now you know there are no boundaries.
You do not exist in the world. The world exists within you. When you listen to your breath, you are hearing the heartbeat of the universe. When you listen to the stillness, you are hearing your own soul returning to its original state. Perfect, peaceful stillness. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Not wrong, not lost. You have come home. Feel the air brushing past your lips. Feel your body dissolving gently into the bed. Feel the space around you slowly melting away. There are no longer boundaries between you and the room. Between the room and the sky, between the sky and infinity, all is one. If you look deeply into the darkness behind your eyelids, you will see it is not empty. It is the color of eternity. It is where all life begins and where every soul comes to rest. To rest in reason and move in love. Khalil Gibran, rest in reason and move in love. Nature is holding you. Everything is returning to balance. You do not need to try to breathe. You do not need to figure out how to be still. Everything is already still. You have come home. If Stoicism had one final whisper for you, it would be this: Amor Fati. Love your fate.
Love the present.
Love this very sleep, for it is the gift of complete surrender. Take one last conscious breath. Then exhale softly, slowly, as if the entire universe were exhaling through you. Everything comes to rest. No more effort to understand, to believe, to live. You simply are, and in that moment you dissolve into nature. No more dreams.
No more dreamer. Only one infinite breath of the universe. Asleep.
Lucid dream, sleep and science. Stories, where philosophy ceases to be teaching and becomes the universe's lullaby for your soul.